with Troop 73. Gonna jump on the Green River tomorrow morning, 60-mile trek, canoes over 5 days. So it's gonna be really cool. Unfortunately, due to that, was not able to attend the City Council or PVMA meeting yesterday. Reviewed all the packet materials and associated stuff. I've already shared the agenda items on a previous posting on the council page. Wanted to I'm sitting out here in front of where we're staying tonight, kind of getting away from everybody so you don't have to hear me necessarily go over the podcast stuff. But I want to show you guys the view. This is amazing. Check this out. So we're definitely in Utah. You can kind of see the mountains there. And again, we're getting on the water on the Green River. I think we'll be on about 11. So that's kind of the idea. But I want to get on here. I don't really have any commentary about the meeting outside the agenda just because I wasn't able to attend, unfortunately. But there were some concerns that showed up on my council page yesterday, and I wanted to sort of address those to a certain degree. I know that the brown water is certainly an issue that's been going on for a few days. Certain residents affected, certain residents not as affected. A big issue for all, certainly. And so as we kind of go back and look, I mean, I've seen some stuff from like Acton, crazy brown water, not anything that anyone wants. Certainly understand people being upset from that perspective. With that being said, I felt like it presented a good opportunity to sort of address communication, critiques, the purpose of the council page that I have as far as that goes. So we had a concerned citizen yesterday that was sort of demonstrating some issues with regards to the water. Totally appropriate. I'm here for that all day. That's the purpose of the council page. However, they were sort of reasonably, passionate, I guess is the right word, indicating that potentially I need to stand stronger with the citizens of Pauls Valley versus the council of the city. And so I'd like to address that, if I may. And so in that regard, let's just say that the city of Pauls Valley is updating everyone in regards to the testing. They're doing daily testing. They're treating the brown water, discussion of lake turnover, higher iron and manganese, but all within normal levels with regards to DEQ levels. So all of that stuff's going on. Not cool to look at, not cool to deal with. I posted yesterday a suggestion for how to deal with the water, a practical solution, which kind of goes to the concerned citizen commentary on my page. I'm sure there's commentary in regards to the city council, in regards to the city, in regards to issues that go on, and that's totally appropriate. And the one thing that I've sort of learned in a couple of months of doing municipal government is the idea that there's always something broke. There's always something to address. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. And so I think for me, I'm a very practical person. And so from that perspective, I've talked in the past about a 1-3-1 approach. And so I'm going to talk about that again and how that relates to people and critiques and in relation to things that I do with the city council. So when I talk about 1-3-1, it's how I address all problems, issues, whether in work, life, business, whatever, even with city government. And so the thing that I would say, the one is identifying the problem, right? So like, what is the problem? Brown water in this instance, right? What I would then do is kind of go through and say, okay, what are 3 things that could potentially be done to address this said issue of the brown water? So you can talk about preventative maintenance, you can talk about flushing hydrants, you can talk about aeration of the water supply, you can talk about algicide preventatively before it got bad enough with the heat. There's a million things you can talk about, and those are all things that I've sort of addressed with the city manager, with different people in planning and zoning, et cetera, et cetera. Now, I think the important thing to sort of note too is that once you go through the 3 items that you could potentially address, you kind of pick the thing that makes the most sense, right? A practical solution. And so that's where I sort of am. So, and as we get to that, I sort of did that with Acton's video that he had posted on Concerned Citizens. And so, in talking to him, he had demonstrated that, hey, don't run your hot water because it might hurt your hot water tank in your house. Run the exterior faucet till it runs clear, and then that'll help you be safe to run the water inside your house. And his is clear now. It's doing great. I've talked to him. As soon as the Concerned Citizens thing sort of popped, I contacted him immediately to sort of address the issue with the video because I hadn't seen it because I've been traveling for the last 2 days getting here to Utah from Oklahoma. With that being said, the commentary and practical solutions that I'd like to be able to offer is like I'm here for all of the commentary and critiques that people want to offer. Feedback, maybe things I could do better, all of that stuff. Things that go on like the community pages, Concerned Citizens and stuff, I don't reply to that, that echo chamber in regards to stuff with the city or the council. The council page for me is so that people can reach out to me and address questions, concerns. I have people that contact me via cell, via messenger, directly on that page with comments, and I get back to everyone and we sort of do the business at hand. The one thing that I want to sort of address with the concerned citizen commentary from yesterday, and I had dialogue with this individual back and forth a bit, and I sort of used that 1-3-1 approach. And I think it's totally the citizen's right to be upset. I think it's totally appropriate to share your concern. I have no issues with any of those things at all. The one thing that I drew a little bit of some exemption to, I guess would be a thing to say, is to call me out specifically in regards to what am I doing for the citizens of Pauls Valley, right? And that it's my job to have the citizens of Pauls Valley's back and not to necessarily have the city council or the city of Pauls Valley's, side in those sorts of things. The one thing that I would say, I don't have any one side. I have the issues side. And I think it's been pretty present during the election, during the campaign, and the 2 months that I've been on council. The transparency, the honesty I share with the public. I tell you guys what's going on, what we're doing, why things are a certain way. But I understand that people are upset, and I got no issues with the individual that had sort of posted that. And so I had thought about contacting that individual via cell phone. However, since they went directly to my page, I felt it appropriate to address all of you because all of you have seen it as well. And so from that perspective, the one thing that I would sort of say, and you would see in the commentary back and forth this individual, is that I'm trying to use that 1-3-1 approach. Okay, what's the issue? What are some things that got us here? What are some things that we can do to remedy this or to help prevent this? And what thing might we choose? This individual chose not to engage in any of those things and wanted to live in an environment of, the thing that sort of occurred, which, again, I understand is upsetting. It's not fun. I wouldn't enjoy it in my house from that perspective, any of those things. But I think, again, I want you guys to reach out to me on the council page 100%. But at the end of the day, I want a dialogue. I want it to be productive. I want it to be, stable in moving us forward. And I'll tell you this, in the last couple of months, and it's not with me being on the council, there's some really good movement in some things in both infrastructure, water plant, wastewater, DEQ issues. And you've seen this talk about this, finances even. There'll be a posting I'll do when I get back July 2nd to sort of go through some of the finances from the previous meeting that I was not able to attend. But I think some really good things are going on. And I want us to kind of keep the focus on that, right? Again, I'm not offended if anyone wants to bring me some smoke in regards to, what I'm doing, things they think I should be doing. But I want us to kind of keep things in perspective. And I want us to focus on solutions and practical applications to the things that are sort of in front of us from that perspective. And so, I don't have any upset feelings toward the concerned citizen that sort of posted that. But I felt that, hey, if somebody's going to come at me on my council page, which again, that's what it's there for, and they're going to be so targeted at me, that I have the right to be able to kind of respond to it. And I felt like a YouTube sort of commentary would be more appropriate than just a text, because you can't pick up tone in a text of a social media post. I'm not here to create like a social media drama or a war. I'm not here to do any of those things. But I'm here to say, hey, I appreciate the feedback. This is where I'm coming from. Let's focus on practical solutions. Let's keep the temperature at a reasonable level that we can sort of do the things we need to do. And again, I'm here for everybody, right? I don't have any sides in any of this stuff. I go into City Hall and I talk with Joe on a weekly basis. I go in, I talk to city council members, on a weekly basis. I'm talking to citizens on a weekly basis, and we're trying to address solutions. Again, if somebody wants to have some issues and things that I'm sort of doing and say I'm not for the people, you're obviously not paying attention to the situation at hand or the things that are going on. Again, not a criticism toward the person, but I think that it would be pretty obvious from that perspective. Not here again to create any drama, but I think it's fair for me to be able to defend myself when someone comes on my council page with such a directed attack that wasn't specific to the issues. And so I definitely wanted to sort of address that, have appreciation for that person and for all that they're doing. And I sort of indicated that in the commentary back and forth. Again, I would highly encourage people to continue to reach out to me. I'm always going to communicate with you and sort of follow up on your issues. I'm here for all those things. I think you guys know that, and you've seen that in the 2 months that I've been on the council. I look forward to resolution of the water issues and then to share more things that are kind of going on with you. Again, we're going to get on the water early tomorrow morning. I won't have any cell service until about July 2nd because we're going to be, 60 miles down the river. Doing scout stuff. So from that perspective, I won't be able to reply to anything in regards to this YouTube video or podcast or any commentary on anything else. But I'll definitely get back to everything in regards to that. I know there's some other business I have to take care of when I get back as well, with citizens with questions on BNSF and the approaches to the railway and cemetery issues and even the water issues we have kind of going on, and even some finance stuff. And so from that perspective, there'll be some updates on that for them individually when I get back. So just understand that I'm out of pocket. So if anyone's been reaching out to me via cell or social, I won't have access to those for, a good number of days until July 2nd. So apologies for that. Appreciate each and every one of you guys. Hope you guys have a great evening. And then again, stay blessed, stay humble, stay appreciative, and I'll talk to you guys soon. All right.